My name is Christie Arkovich, and I am an attorney in Tampa, Florida. We focus on student aid actions or student loan actions, bankruptcy, foreclosure defense, and other kinds of debt type legal action, trying to solve different problems. And I wanted to just comment on the recent SCOTUS decision. I know everybody's probably heard that that's come down now, 6-3. So it was a pretty resolute decision in that I don't expect any kind of Biden appeal through the Higher Education Act or anything else to effectively wipe out student loan debt across the board. Instead, it was fairly clear that the outcome of this case is to have a preference towards individualized relief. And that's good for our practice because most of the clients that are hired, that hire us are folks that either they didn't receive any kind of benefit from the education, it really has no value to them, or they just haven't been able to make a go of it. And they haven't really been able to make enough money in their career choice to repay the student loan debt. And when I say that, a lot of our clients have actually repaid the student loans. What they haven't paid is the excessive craziness that has gone throughout the last decade, to where you have 25% increase in the loan balance upon a default. You have crazy high interest rates during a low interest environment. And you have repeated defaults and basically capitalization of interest at any little change. And you have servicers that didn't do a very effective job of letting a borrower know, here's long-term what you can expect. Here's a plan that's good for you, a good fit for you to get rid of the student loan debt within a reasonable period of time. None of that existed. And so I do have to commend the Biden administration for changing a good deal of that. And now it seems to be much more clear what some of these other avenues of relief are. And these are things that we've been focusing on for the past decade, and some of which are actually brand new, and some of which have been around for a while, but they've actually been fixed most recently. So even though the SCOTUS decision has caused a lot of angst among folks, knowing that they won't get the $10,000 to $20,000 forgiveness. And there was a lot of folks with applications that had already been approved that were just on a hold or holding pattern during this opinion. I want to give you comfort in that there's other things available, and don't forget about those other things. I'm going to do some individualized videos on each of those things, just so that someone doesn't have to listen to a big long thing if something doesn't apply to them. But there's the new SAVE income-driven plan. Excellent plan. I'm going to go through that in some more detail in a subsequent video here. There's also borrower defense. A lot of folks are getting full discharges and refunds of amounts that they have paid for these for-profit colleges that, again, the degree really wasn't worth anything to them. In fact, we've had employers tell our clients that if they had listed ITT Tech, Corinthian, Everest, any of those schools on their resume, they might as well just take it off, because it doesn't really benefit them in their search for employment. There's also the consolidation to direct loans for the one-time account adjustment. That's been going on for a while, but the actual adjustment hasn't yet occurred. What that means is that we're going to see substantial numbers of folks who have direct loans have a one-time account adjustment to get credit for long-term forbearances and repayments that they might have made over 20 or 25 years to actually allow for a complete discharge of their federal student loans. But there is some deadlines on that. And we do have some prior videos about the need to consolidate. It used to have a deadline of May 1st. It's been moved to the end of the year. I probably wouldn't wait. I'd do it anytime. You never know when someone might sue. Now, it's not likely going forward. There's been a little bit of a change where I don't think there'll be the justification for fellow servicers to want to sue to stall or halt that program, but you just never know. And so why not do the consolidation now? Please know that there are some tips and some traps that you can get into for consolidation. You might want to review our materials or do a consultation with us, just to make sure that you're doing it correctly, in the right order, making sure correct loans are counted and things like that. And if anyone does want to do a consultation with our firm, the way to reach us, our office number is 813-258-2808. And you also can email us at info@christiearkovich.com. That's info@christiearkovich.com. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program has also been revamped. It has a number of fixes. We're seeing people get discharges daily now from folks who hadn't been able to get them in the past decade or two. Even though they done the 120 months, they had the wrong loan types, maybe the wrong loan program, and they needed to have some of these fixes apply so that they can get credit for that. We used to have to go into bankruptcy to fix that. We used to have to ask a bankruptcy judge to recognize the unfairness that was involved with someone who had the wrong loan type, even though they were working the public service program. And it got messy and it's expensive. So this fix that is for the public service loan forgiveness program is working quite well. And there's no additional cost for it. So that's excellent news. The bankruptcy provisions, I'm going to do a separate video about that because they are significant. They are new as of November, but people are slow to get started on doing that. We're able to discharge federal student loans that we never could in a bankruptcy filing. And again, with SCOTUS's opinion denying debt relief across the board universally to folks that, maybe they can afford to pay their student loans, I suspect that that's going to allow bankruptcy courts more discretion, and the Department of Justice, in combination with the Department of Ed through the attestation process, this new thing about discharging federal student loans, they're going to allow for maybe more discharges. So we're very hopeful that we are filing those cases now, and I'll do a separate video about that. And then finally, TPD, total and permanent disability. I just had a client today. He emailed me concerned that his prior disability discharge would be impacted by this SCOTUS decision. And I reassured him that no, there's no impact. This decision to deny the $10,000 forgiveness has absolutely no bearing on the TPD, total and permanent disability discharges. In fact, those discharges have been benefited because there is an elimination of the 3-year income monitoring, the post-discharge monitoring, as of yesterday, July 1st. So I know this is a lot of information. I've kind of skipped through some things quickly, but essentially there are other things that you can do with federal student loan debt. And then don't forget private student loans. We still have tax-free settlements through the end of 2025. So that means that if you have a private student loan, whether it had formerly been a federal loan or whether it's always been a private loan, if you can settle it, do it now. There is a time period that the loan has to be in default first before they'll settle. That's just kind of the way it is. They don't take a current loan and settle them. And sometimes it might take an attorney to get best results. We often will argue consumer violations at the same time. Basically, those are illegal or things that the debt collector has done that are against some federal or state statute out there. And we raise those issues when we see them. It might be credit reporting that doesn't correctly reflect the forbearances or the amount of debt or something like that. And we use that to get better settlements. But remember, the payment of the settlement has to be completed by the end of 2025 to get the tax-free relief. That's part of the stimulus bill, and that deadline is a firm deadline. We don't expect it to change. It's never been in existence before. And we're trying to make sure that as many people as possible know of that deadline to settle a private student loan debt before the end of 2025 to get tax-free relief. So as you can see, there's different things you can do. SCOTUS hasn't impacted any of those particular things. Reach out to us if you have questions, and be sure to check out some of our more detailed videos on some of the specific things and so forth. And please call us if you need a consultation. The number is 813-258-2808. And again, it's Christie Arkovich in Tampa, Florida. If anyone is outside of the state, we are not licensed outside of Florida. We sometimes will provide assistance to an attorney outside of our state, and we can handle federal actions, perhaps federal plans and things like that. But we tend to shy away from any kind of court action involving other states because we're located in Tampa, Florida. We can handle anyone in the state of Florida. There is a resource page on our website that we have a map that has been created by Josh Cohen. He's another student loan attorney up in Connecticut and Rhode Island, I believe. He has very kindly put together a workshop map for grads of his workshop, of which I'm one. And every state has a handful of student loan attorneys. Unfortunately, a lot of the student loan attorneys don't do everything. It's quite wide, the variety of things that we do. I think that we do probably more than most. do take a look at that. It's on our resource page under our website, which is ChristieArkovich.com, if you're out of the state of Florida. All right, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.